Yo, what's going on, guys? It's G Miners here. The Lightfall raid release is exactly 1 month from this Friday. Lightfall launches on the 28th, and we're going to have around a week and a half before the raid drops on the 10th. So I wanted to go over 3 things that you guys should be doing now in order to prepare for the day 1 raid race and Lightfall in general. This is going to be the first major DLC that we're heading into since getting craftable weapons, which came out in Season 16, and we're also getting the biggest build crafting overhaul that Destiny has ever received, which will 100% be changing the meta in terms of boss damage setups, mods you use, and team comp. You are definitely going to want to spend the first few days making sure that you fully understand all the new systems that we're going to be getting, so preparing now is going to make things a lot easier when we get into this new DLC. As always, if you guys do enjoy the video, make sure to drop a like and sub down below, and let's get on to item number 1. First and foremost, I am personally going through right now and making sure that I have every weapon craftable, at least from seasonal vendors located in the Helm. We are getting a bunch of changes to focusing next season, but I don't think Bungie has announced whether or not craftable weapons from seasonal vendors are going away. That being said, at the start of this week, these vendors now started offering 1 deep sight weapon each day, which you can purchase. This means you can buy 1 from each vendor each day, which is going to be 3 in total. That is a guaranteed deep sight resonance pattern, which helps a ton with filling in all the missing patterns that you may need. The best way to earn all of the patterns you have left is to make sure that you stock up on Umbral Essence and then buy 1 from each vendor every day. In total, we have 21 days left before Lightfall, which is enough for 4 whole weapon patterns from each vendor. The patterns that I personally recommend you make sure you get craftable from each vendor is as follows if you don't have them yet. From the Crown of Sorrow, number 1 is going to be Callous Mini Tool. This is great for solar builds, especially during raid races when using healing grenades and Ember of Empyrean. And then with Ember of Torches, this means you can also get a roaming 25% damage increase. Number 2 is going to be Bump in the Night. This is one of the best rocket frames with super solid perks, especially in the 3rd column. Autoloading makes it great for swapping, and Field Prep makes it great for spamming rockets. After this, I would just get Hollow Denial and then probably Drang. Everything else from here is kind of trash for PvE, other than maybe Without Remorse. From the star chart, the only major weapon I see being useful in Lightfall is going to be Tarnished Metal. This is an S tier Arc Scout Rifle. No Reprieve is also solid, but the main reason to use slugs right now is for swapping, and No Reprieve doesn't auto-load, so its swapping potential is going to be lower. Lastly, from the Exoframe, which is the vendor as of this season, I recommend you first pick up the Ikelos SMG, which is one of the best primaries currently in the game, followed by Path of Least Resistance, which is a trace rifle that can roll with Volt Shot, which is really good for double special builds. And then we also have Disparity, and then Fire and Forget. Disparity is a great pulse rifle for contest mode because it's a 4-round burst, and although linears were nerfed, Fire and Forget is still going to be half decent as another craftable LFR roll, which has a better chance to proc Vice Stinger. If you guys do want a nice site to check all of your crafted weapons progress at once, I will have a link in the description or the comments to Blue Ingram. This way you can see everything you need and how many patterns are left before you can craft something if you guys don't want to check in game every time. After getting all the patterns that you want craftable, I think the next most important thing is going to be bounty prepping, which could be more important now than ever before. I know a lot of people don't like bounty prepping, nor do they think it's worth the time, but it usually is. I feel like recently, Bungie has been introducing some pretty meta-defining mods in the final column of the artifact, and as of right now, going into Lightfall, unlocking these will still require XP. Starting in Lightfall, the artifact mods that you select will also be permanently applied to your character, which means that the artifact on its own is going to have a way larger role in build crafting for each class you play than ever before, where different selections will also allow you to have different benefits. On top of this, since Witch Queen was released, the power bonus from the artifact has now been enabled and counts towards your power going into the contest mode raid, which means that if you do bounty prep and reach a high enough artifact bonus, you could be raid ready the first day of the DLC, which means that you get to spend more time build crafting and testing loadouts, along with getting new weapons and exotics, rather than wasting time doing extra power leveling that first week. And in general, if you guys are somebody who doesn't have as much time to prep during new DLCs, this will help you out with getting raid ready too. If you guys do want to know how to bounty prep, here is everything you need to know in less than 30 seconds. First, do all the weeklies that you can on every character. The weeklies that you should be doing are those from Shah Han, Eris Morn, the Lectern of Enchantment, Varix, and Soraya Hawthorne. The Ascendant challenges are good too, but they rotate weekly, so you might have missed out on some. And then after that, just fill up your bounty page with dailies until you're full. Also, make sure to delete any unneeded quest lines to increase your bounty space. That's it, bounty prep done. After you are fully bounty prepped, the last major thing that I like to do for prep for a season that has a raid release is to make sure I have Ascendant shards ready to go. This is useful for masterworking new exotics that are released, and also for last minute masterworks of the gear you get that might need a few extra mod slots. Some people would also recommend storing up Ascendant alloy too. I honestly don't think you need to do this because the enhanced version of most perks that are craftable are completely useless. There are definitely some exceptions to this, but I think as long as you have 10, you're pretty good to go. For Ascendant shards though, I personally like to store up an additional 10 in each class's postmaster. This can take a while, however, if you end up waiting for the week with double Nightfall rewards from Grandmasters, this goes up pretty easily. The major reason having these ready to go before a season launches is because they are much harder to get in the beginning of a season, so if you end up needing some, you tend to need to do activities which require higher bonuses than you may even be capable of completing. Storing up 10 in each postmaster is going to be 40 in total, which is more than enough. I usually just store this many up because I usually lose a stack or two if my postmaster gets full, which is why having a stack on all classes is super nice. As a quick little fourth bonus thing to prep, with the remaining postmaster slots you may have left, make sure to fill these up with exotic engrams. If you guys have a full engram inventory, then go and do a lost sector, these engrams will go to your postmaster. Then decrypting these on the day that a certain exotic armor piece is in rotation from the lost sector will then give you that armor piece without needing to ever do the lost sector. For example, if Titans get brand new arms next season, I can wait until arms are in rotation, decrypt the engram from my postmaster, and then get the brand new exotic instantly. Having multiple engrams stored up means you get a higher chance at getting a better roll if you get lucky with your drops. I personally have some other weapons that I need to farm still, but I think as long as you have a majority of the meta-defining weapons, do some bounty prep, have a decent amount of materials, and a good set of armor, you're going to be set for Lightfall. Everything else that you need to grind should happen after Lightfall is released, and it's usually just for any major changes that the update brings, or any new weapons and gear that you might want to acquire. Let me know if you guys have any questions about day one raiding or prep in the comments below, and I do also stream a bunch over on my Twitch, where we do low mans and speedruns live. A link to that and my Discord server are both in the description below. Anyways, that's all for this video. As always, have a good one, guys. Peace.